You might believe that the US can effortlessly contain China's rise, but the truth is far more intricate and challenging. Despite America's strategies designed to limit China's growth, these efforts often seem to have the opposite effect, making China even more powerful and influential. How has China managed to thrive and expand its global influence despite intense US opposition? Keep watching to discover why America's strategies to curb China's growth are proving ineffective and what it means for the world's power structure. The Chinese economy is likely to become at least twice as large as the US economy, and possibly even 3 times as large. With a population that is about 4 to 5 times greater than the US, China only needs to achieve a GDP per capita that is half of the United States for their economy to surpass ours. Economics are the foundation of global power. China's emergence as a global superpower seems unavoidable. However, the US is determined to contain China's growth in order to maintain its status as the world's largest economy. There's a common belief that the US economy has been harmed by job losses to China. For years, it's been suggested that Beijing has been outpacing the United States in competitiveness. But can we truly blame China for American job losses when US companies willingly move their operations to China for the benefits of lower labor and operating costs? The US has become increasingly aggressive in its efforts to curb China's rise, pressuring its allies to join in. Nonetheless, measures such as trade wars, freedom of navigation operations, urging allies to avoid Huawei equipment, and opposing the Belt and Road Initiative have not produced the desired outcomes. In fact, one could argue that the more the US tries to hinder China, the stronger and more resilient China becomes. For instance, allegations of China creating debt traps have only resulted in more countries joining the Belt and Road Initiative. By early 2024, more than 140 countries had joined the Belt and Road Initiative, covering nearly 75% of the world's population and over half of global GDP. While Beijing strengthens diplomatic and economic relationships with developing nations through this initiative, the US offers few comparable options for infrastructure investment and financial aid. As more nations align with China, the US accuses China of various problems, such as overcapacity and being complicit in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The more the US attempts to block China's progress, the more likely it is to fail both economically and geopolitically. In this video, we'll explore key reasons why the US will have difficulty containing China. Before we continue, please consider subscribing to our channel to support us. First, China is the largest trading partner for many countries. China holds the position of the largest trading partner for numerous countries. According to the Wilson Center, a US think tank, China is the leading trading partner for over 120 countries. China knows that to achieve global dominance, it must prevent any country, including the United States, from impeding its progress. As a result, China focuses on economic growth and establishing robust economic relationships with other nations. During the Cold War, the US successfully contained the Soviet Union because the Soviet economy was collapsing, and the US convinced neighboring countries to stop trading with the Soviets. Nowadays, China's economy is thriving, and it remains the largest trading partner for many nations. This means that when the US requests countries like Japan, South Korea, and its European allies to sever ties with China, these efforts often fall short. For instance, when the US asked Japan to stop exporting advanced microchips to China to slow down its technological progress, Japan complied. But this was the limit of Japan's actions. Look at Tesla's success in China over the last 5 years. China has significantly contributed to Tesla's rapid growth, making it the most valuable automaker globally and a leading electric vehicle seller. China is a key market for the automotive sector, especially for electric vehicles, thanks to its large consumer base and robust financial system. As Tesla's second-largest market, selling large volumes of electric vehicles in China is a major aspect of its business strategy. Tesla is just one of over 1 million international companies operating in China, most of which are deepening their partnerships with Chinese counterparts rather than withdrawing. Toyota, the world's largest automaker from Japan, is planning to build an electric vehicle plant for Lexus in Shanghai, aiming to fully own the factory as Tesla has done. Clearly, China is deeply embedded in global trade, and any country that tries to cut off trade with China could face substantial economic consequences. Second, the rise of the Global South. The term Global South refers to nations that have relatively low levels of economic and industrial development, often located south of more industrialized countries. Essentially, it includes developing countries. China has been actively working to build political relationships, strengthen economic ties, enhance security cooperation, and foster closer connections with these developing nations. Contrary to a widespread belief among Western policy analysts, there has not been a surge in Chinese exports to developed markets. These exports have been stagnant for years. However, China's exports to the global south have significantly increased. Part of China's success in these developing regions is attributed to a new form of triangular trade. This trade emerged as a response to the 25% tariff on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports imposed by the Trump administration in 2019. China exports components and capital goods to countries like Mexico, Vietnam, and India, which then assemble these goods into finished products for sale in the United States. This situation highlights a crucial point. America has become more dependent than ever on Chinese supply chains. Furthermore, with the rise of the global south, the world is shifting from a unipolar to a multipolar structure. The influence of the United States and other Western countries, such as those in Europe, is diminishing, while the influence of developing nations in regions like Asia, Africa, South Asia, and Latin America is growing. China's role as a driver of global economic growth is fostering positive upward mobility for the global south. The country has made substantial investments in these areas through the Belt and Road Initiative and various trade partnerships. This is why the U.S. struggles to contain China's rise. Perhaps the most critical reason the U.S. has had difficulty rallying allies for its anti-China campaign is national interest. Aligning against Communist China means compromising their own national interests. Most allied and developing countries are neighbors of China and heavily depend on it for their economic stability. China will continue to grow. If you follow Western media, you might hear that China is in decline or facing a crisis, and that America's restrictions on exporting advanced chips will hinder China's technological progress. However, this view is far from accurate. China has successfully navigated tech sanctions and circumvented U.S. tariffs. Domestically, China is performing well. The country's GDP grew by 5.2% in 2023, surpassing expectations, while the U.S. saw a growth rate of around 2.53%, and Germany, the strongest economy in Europe, only experienced a 0.31% increase in GDP for the same year. In summary, China is committed to growing stronger and wealthier despite U.S. opposition. The country has the economic, technological, and military resources to achieve this. The complexities of global power dynamics reveal that America's attempts to contain China's rise are encountering significant challenges. Despite various strategies and pressures, China continues to expand its influence and strengthen its position on the world stage. This evolving situation underscores a shifting global landscape where traditional methods of containment may no longer be as effective. As China advances and solidifies its role in the international arena, the implications for global balance and power distribution become increasingly profound. Understanding these dynamics offers valuable insights into the future of global relations and the ongoing transformation of international influence. In your opinion, what strategies might the U.S. use to successfully counter China's ascent? Feel free to share your perspectives in the comments section below. To stay updated on the latest insights and developments in global power dynamics, become a part of the Revel Discovery community by hitting the subscribe button. Join us as we explore the evolving landscape of international relations and the future of global influence.